Well, hello, church. Welcome to, Spring of Life Groups. This is a place for us where we open up our words to learn, and then we open up our homes to invite people in so that we can grow in community, grow as friends, and get to know one another for the purpose of becoming better followers and better disciples of Jesus Christ, to grow in our sanctification, to live lives that are filled for the glory of God. And so this season we have started on the book of Ephesians. You have heard the sermon series of the book of Ephesians, and we'll be in the book for this entire season. So we'll start off in chapter 1, and if you listen to the sermon, or the first sermon, it was called the Blessed Life. If we miss the blessing that we see in chapter 1, we kind of miss the entire point of the rest of the book. So it's really crucial for us to understand the blessings that God has blessed us with in this life. And we see in verse 3 that God has blessed us in Christ with every spiritual blessing. And we talked about that in the sermon, right? That the blessings aren't necessarily in us, but the blessings are in Christ and those who are in Christ. And those who are in Christ have every spiritual blessing, and they stand holy and they stand blameless because of the redemption of Jesus Christ and the adoption of God the Father of those who were sinners but are now saints. And this blessing that we have, verse 8 says that God has lavished upon us, right? So it's the fullness of it is lavished. It's not a minor blessing, it's not a minute blessing, but it is a lavished blessing that we have in Jesus Christ. And so for us to kind of discuss as a group, here's a few questions that we can ask ourselves. Why do we not consider ourselves blessed? Because we can look at our lives and we can see some imperfections, we can see places where we kind of fall short. We can see places where we aren't as blessed as we want to be blessed. But the Bible tells us that in Christ we have every spiritual blessing. And so what is it about our condition? What is it about our focus that causes us to not consider ourselves blessed? Another one is, how can we become more aware of the blessings that Jesus has bestowed upon us? How can we see in our lives those blessings of which is talked about in chapter 1. And then the last one is, how do we continue growing in this holiness and blamelessness, right? That God has in Jesus Christ made us holy and blameless. And the Bible tells us that we are now being sanctified and we are now growing in Christ in holiness and blamelessness. So how do we do that effectively? So blessings to you, group, as you go into your discussions now.